Eurocrats are digging their heels in after the UK's Brexit Secretary David Davis said Britain's agreement was more a statement of intent than a legally enforceable thing, which prominent MEP Guy Verhofstadt claimed undermined trust. Talks went on through the night on Thursday and Friday between Britain, Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland and the EU to sign off the first phase of negotiations. The last-minute, early-morning deal settled the divorce bill, the Irish border and EU citizens' rights, with the hope negotiations can now move into trade. GETTYBrexit Secretary David Davis said the Phase 1 Brexit deal wasnt enforceable, but in a bid to win Brexiteers over to the agreement, which suggested the UK may be moving towards a soft Brexit, David Davis said claimed it wasn't enforceable. Mr. Davis then talked bullishly about wanting a Canada plus trade deal with the EU, suggesting that the UK would not pay the rumoured £39 million divorce bill otherwise. And Theresa May yesterday told Parliament, "Nothing is agreed until everything is agreed," saying she would refuse to pay the £39 billion divorce bill if a trade deal wasn't given. Prime Minister Theresa May shakes hands with European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker. Belgian MEP Guy Verhofstadt, leader of the group of the Alliance of Liberals and Democrats for Europe, and the European Parliament's representative in the Brexit negotiations, was left unimpressed by Mr. Davis' comments. Mr. Verhofstadt, who also served as his country's Prime Minister from 1999 to 2008, tweeted remarks by David Davis that Phase 1 deal last week not binding were unhelpful, undermines trust. EP text will now reflect this, insist agreement translated into legal text ASAP. Get It letter shows the amendment, due to be ratified later this week. Remarks by David Davis that Phase 1 deal last week not binding were unhelpful, undermines trust. EP text will now reflect this, insist agreement translated into legal text ASAP. Brexit, Guy Verhofstadt at Guy Verhofstadt, December 12, 2017. Getty traffic crosses into Northern Ireland from the Republic alongside a Brexit border poster. Mr. Verhofstadt's irritation is shared by others in Brussels, and a draft statement prepared by representatives of the 27 member states of the European Union, and due to be signed later this week, has been revised to say, negotiations in the second phase can only progress as long as all commitments undertaken during the first phase are respected in full and translated faithfully in legal terms as quickly as possible. The text also calls on Mrs. May to start drafting the relevant parts of the withdrawal agreement into law. The EU draft text states that all existing regulatory, budgetary, supervisory, judiciary and enforcement instruments and structures will apply, despite Britain not being part of the EU decision-making process. Eurocrats are also likely to insist that, as a precondition to any trade deal, Britain must agree to what it terms a level playing field mechanism, to prevent it offering tax breaks as subsidies in order to gain a competitive advantage over EU states. Monday, June 19, 2017. David Davis and Michel Barnier give a press conference at the end of a meeting at EU Commission in Brussels. Negotiations in the second phase can only progress as long as all commitments undertaken during the first phase are respected in full and translated faithfully in legal terms as quickly as possible. EU draft statement. The words seem to shore up the EU's position in the wake of Mr. Davis's comments, which he has since claimed have been misinterpreted. Speaking on LBC, he said, "I said this was a statement of intent, which was much more than just legally enforceable. Of course it's legally enforceable under the withdrawal agreement, but even if that didn't happen for some reason, if something went wrong, we would still be seeking to provide a frictionless, invisible border with Ireland. I was making the point it was much more than what's just in the treaty, it's what we want to do anyway." The EU 27 are meeting today to decide whether sufficient progress has been made on Brexit talks. Despite the European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker, and its chief Brexit negotiator, saying they believed enough had been done, the final decision lies with the member states.